Welcome to Divinely Inspired Ideas for Life. I'm Leslie McNulty, and today in our Life and Spirituality segments, we are discussing personal confidence and clear thinking. Hey, do you have need of confidence? I know I do at times. And in our Ideas Zone, we will explore how to live your dream. And I have a special guest, my husband, Dr. Kevin McNulty, and we will continue our discussions on mentorship. So, let's get started. Are you fearful of heart, or do you find yourself at a lack for words or faced with a physical weakness or disability? One afternoon, a young Russian man by the name of Ildus approached the platform in one of our outdoor events. This young man was so excited he could hardly wait to tell others what God had done for him. I was speaking when Ildus decided it was time to share his story. Ildus was so full of joy. He was pointing at his heart as if to say, I am not alone. Something has happened in my heart. Just as Ildus opened his mouth to speak, my husband arrived at the meeting. This young man was now grunting into the microphone, pointing at his heart. I remember my husband looking at me as if to say, why is this guy on the platform? He's not normal and he can't speak. Have you ever felt rejected because you're different or because you lack skills that other people seem to come by easily? I know that Ildus felt all alone. He had been rejected by his family, living on the streets, living off garbage, and wandering about aimlessly. He had little to live for. In fact, one of our team members had just taken him into his very own home. The next evening at our event, as my husband was speaking, Ildus once again approached the platform. Several of us were attempting to get my husband's attention because something very different was about to unfold. Kevin kept saying, don't give that guy the mic. But finally we prevailed, and when Ildus took the microphone, he began to speak in perfect Russian. And then Ildus reached into his pocket, pulled out a card, and showed the audience his special medical ID. And to our shock, he told us this card classified him with the highest level of mental retardation. He looked at the crowd and said, you know me, I'm the guy that begs from the trash cans, but something happened to me last night. Jesus came into my room while I was sleeping, and he put his finger on my forehead and on my tongue, and for the first time in my life, the fog has cleared from my mind. For the first time in my life, I can think and speak clearly. In 2010, an award-winning historical British film called The King's Speech documented the life of King George VI of Great Britain. He was known as the stuttering king and dreaded public speaking, a responsibility every monarch was expected to do often and to do well. In 1925, he gave a closing speech at Wembley Stadium in London. The speech was a terrible ordeal for both him and his listeners. Stuttering through it with lengthy pauses, everyone waited for it to end. Psychologists tell us anyone can stutter if pushed too far. A very stressful situation or a very aggressive interrogation or conversation can cause anyone to stutter. However, most children grow out of stuttering. In both stories, Ildus and King George VI both needed help. Ildus needed a miracle, and God reached into his world and healed his heart and his mind. King George did not grow out of his childhood stuttering, and he required intensive therapy. As Germany threatened to invade England, King George rallied his strength, faced the nation, and found the resolve to inspire the nation as England declared war on Hitler. King George rose above his difficulties to lead a nation into war. With the help of Australian-born speech therapist Lionel Logue, he rose above his disability and courageously inspired a nation to action. The prophet Isaiah said, "The fearful heart will know and understand, and the stammering tongue will be fluent and clear." If you are fearful today, there are both practical and spiritual solutions available to you. Ildas, born with mental retardation and an inability to speak, received a miracle from God. And I want you to know that miracles are available today. Yet, King George discovered practical tools to overcome his stuttering and dislike of public speaking. Regardless of your situation, today you can rise above whatever holds you back and discover that you have a friend with God. He will come to you today and reconcile whatever distresses you. Just say these simple words with me. Come into my life, Lord. Release me from the fear that holds me back. Like Ildas, heal my heart and touch my mind. Whether you are in search of a miracle or practical tools, I encourage you today, go to my website. We are here to help you. We have made tools available to you that will change your life.
Dr. Leslie will be back in just a moment with an inspiring interview on our Miracle Echo segment.
Welcome to the Miracle Echo. Today I am joined by my husband, Dr. Kevin McNulty, and we are continuing our discussion on the topic of mentorship. Dr. Kevin, I am so glad that you're here today on the program.
I'm glad I'm here too.
We love to talk about this subject of mentorship. I think we could create an entire series that would last for months and months just on this one theme.
I think years and years.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, what does mentorship specifically, we were talking about paying any price. What does that mean to you? And what examples have you experienced?
Well, it's not the mentor that needs to pay the price. It's the disciple that needs to go on the learning curve. And the only way to get on the learning curve is to find someone to follow. It's hard to follow a book, but it's easy to follow somebody who is learned from the book, experienced from the book, and can demonstrate from the book.
Now, for our audience and our friends that are joining us here today, I'd like to let you know that our mentor was known really as a global ambassador of good news. And we had the opportunity of serving with him for over 16 years on every major continent. And he's a legend in many nations.
He's a pioneer.
Pioneer and a legend.
Yes.
And he really helped us hone our very own skills in what we do in communicating to people just like you all around the globe.
Yeah, there are many levels of communication, and he was just experienced and an expert at communicating to a wide range of people, a wide range of culture, and a wide range of religions, and empowering people, releasing people into the earth.
And into their very own destiny.
Yes.
I remember a gentleman came over to Bulgaria when we were conducting a large event there in that nation. And this man was quite famous in the United States and very successful in business training seminars. And so you tell this story so well about how shocked you were to see this gentleman show up for this, somewhat unconventional good news meeting in the capital of Bulgaria.
Yes, it was a rainy day, and it was 10 days of rain. And we were walking out onto this muddy field, and I looked to my left, and there is this famous speaker who was at the top of his game, who put on major conventions across the United States with presidents of the nation attending and the top athletes of the nation attending, speaking at his conferences. And I'm looking at him saying, that can't be him.
Why is he here?
What's he doing here in this muddy field with us? And I looked at him and I said his name. I said, "Are you?" And I said his name. He said, "Yes, I am." And I said, "What are you doing here?" He says, "I've come here because I need to learn. There's things I don't know and things I want to do in the future. And the only way for me to learn is I have to get exposure to the people who are doing what I want to do in the future."
So this man who brought such great reputation to the table that would be recognized not just in the United States, but he would be recognized in many cultures. This gentleman was willing to pay any price and stand in the rain, although he was at the top of his game, in order to learn from our mentor.
And it was just a nickel drop in me that this is what it takes. Even the top people in the world have to go down to the very base to learn if they want to go on another direction. And I remember in my own life, just as a tennis pro, as a tennis player, as an athlete at Michigan State University, when I arrived there, I couldn't hit a backhand. So I went from number 1 to number 6 because we played on wood. And I had to learn all winter long how to hit a net, how to play net, because wood would not allow us to actually hit from the baseline because of the speed of the ball and the inaccuracy of wood. So everybody had to play net, and I was no good at it. So I dropped until I learned that I went back up to 1. But I had to learn that net game. I had to pay a price. I had to go on the learning curve.
So we understand from this businessman who was at the very top of his game, that as Kevin said, anyone who really wants to grow to the next level will discover that you're always prepared to pay the price, to go to the next level, to learn, and to really humble yourself and take on new circumstances, even trying circumstances, to go to the next level. John Maxwell discovered that one of the keys to his very own success was that he needed to be ever learning, ever growing through every season and phase of his life. We want to challenge you today here on the Miracle Echo. Be ever growing, be ever learning, and be willing to pay any price to discover the best that's alive in you. Thank you so much for joining us today here on the Miracle Echo. You can visit the website for more materials on mentorship and your own personal development.
Stay right where you are. Dr. Leslie is coming right back with our Second Life in Spirituality segment.
Should any child have to beg for food just to survive? Amidst the massive population of India, you can help feed and educate 12,000 needy children every day. This nourishment and tutoring is a key to a better future for each child and for India. Join our 5 Loaves and 2 Fish project today.
Are doctors any closer to curing the major illnesses of our society? Have you considered how your lifestyle is affecting your health? Kevin and I were attending a local Christian service and asked the people how many of them were actually sick. To our amazement, no hands went up, but we decided to ask another question. How many of you are taking medication for some type of chronic illness? When we looked out at the auditorium, we saw that 70% of the hands went up. Today we're going to talk about chronic illness and its effect on you, or its effect on the average person. A leading cancer research doctor recently told my husband while they were seated together on the airplane that we are no closer to a cure today than when he first began his cancer research many years ago. He also stated that those who improved while suffering from cancer took control of their own cancer therapy. Could it be that you should take control of your treatment or the process of rehabilitation that you are in? Today, as a first step in treatment, we are going to talk about taking control of your lifestyle. In the United States, 75% of healthcare dollars go to treatment of chronic disease. These persistent conditions are the nation's leading cause of death and disability. And these chronic diseases leave in their wake deaths that could have been prevented, lifelong disability that could have been avoided, and an overall compromised quality of life. In addition, the CDC, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, say that healthcare costs are escalating, and 7 out of 10 deaths among Americans each year are from chronic diseases. So, although many fear epidemics such as H1N1, SARS, or Ebola, the reality is most deaths occur due to chronic health issues. Chronic diseases are often preventable and frequently manageable. In fact, many chronic diseases could be prevented, delayed, or alleviated through simple lifestyle changes. The CDC estimates that eliminating 3 risk factors, poor diet, inactivity, and smoking, would prevent 80% of heart disease and stroke, 80% of type 2 diabetes, and 40% of cancer. So today, let's begin and make a lifestyle adjustment. Today, we can adjust the foundation of our lives. And today, you can adjust your thinking. So let's eliminate these 3 risk factors: poor diet, inactivity, and smoking. And let's eliminate chronic disease in our lives. Why wait? Let's get started today.
Next up, we will discuss the value of associating with those around us in our Connecting to Others segment.
Who is an evangelist? Or we might even ask, who's qualified to be an evangelist? I think it's a really interesting question because we tend to push the ministry of the evangelist over into a special category that has a definition called the one who blows into town, blows up, blows something, and then leaves. But in reality, evangelism, the evangelist is to equip the body of Christ to do the work of evangelism. Just as a pastor would equip the body of Christ to reach out to the community around them, the people that are sitting next to them on the pew, to pray with them, to talk with them today, to help him pastor the people by bringing them closer to Christ. Well, the evangelist is to come into town and help somebody learn how to evangelize. And that's why I'm doing this segment with you here today. I want you to understand how simple it is. Truly, the only major qualification required to be an evangelist is that you must be born again, or you must have experienced the new birth. Because without the new birth or without being born again, all you're going to give me is some religion and another way to try to get to God based on my own works or my own merit. So the first qualification to be an evangelist is first you must embrace Jesus Christ. You must know that He is your Lord. You must have experienced that conversion, that new birth. Now, what else qualifies you to be an evangelist? Or who is this evangelist? An evangelist is a messenger of good news. An evangelist does not need a full-time Bible school education because an evangelist is someone who will go about evangelizing. We're often taught that to share the gospel or to be an evangelist, we have to have years of obedience and the knowledge of God. How many of you have a friend, they got turned on to the Lord, they got born again, and they're coming to church, and they're loud, and they're crazy, and they're bringing people, and they're basically making a mess. And the first words they begin to hear are, settle down, be quiet, learn, understand, and then you'll be ready to be a voice, or, just take some time, chill out a little bit. Well, I'll tell you what, the chill out portion is the difficult portion, because the minute you chill out, you get cold as ice. And cold as ice, I don't know, holding an ice cube in your hand or sticking your hand on the fire, both of them can hurt you. So we want to be in the position that we are fully empowered with the passion and the love of God, because the love of God is the life of God.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with today's Idea Zone. How do you unlock the dream that's in your heart? Do you have an idea but you don't know where to begin? Or perhaps you think you're too busy, or you lack inspiration? Discover a great new future in Leslie's powerful 7-step dream sheet. Dr. McNulty's free workbook will help you eliminate the mental clutter and launch your dream. Request your free copy of the Live Your Dream Workbook at www.lesliemcnulty.com now.
Welcome to the Idea Zone, where daily inspiration energizes you to action. We are on step number 5 of my 7-step series, Live Your Dream. In today's segment, we will explore the importance of refining your vision statement, and vision casting we know can be done by good communicators, but dream casting can only be done by people who live and breathe their dreams. As the author of your dream, ask yourself these 3 simple questions. Do I have the right message? As the messenger, am I impassioned by my dream? And have I chosen the right moment for my dream? Remember, your dream constantly requires revision. A dream is not perfection in action, but a dream is excellence in execution. Your dream will require rethinking and revisiting resource and timeframes. It also requires you to evaluate environmental pressures, which you cannot always control. I recall when my husband and I wanted to purchase a tent for Eurasia. We were excited because our mentor had been telling the people of the ex-Soviet countries to purchase tents to help the churches begin new churches. Wow, it looked like we had an idea from God. But when we met with our mentor, his response to us was, well, that's not God. And he gave us the following question: how many republics, nations, and regions are there in the ex-Soviet territories? We knew the answer to that question. It was a little over 100. So our response to his question was easy. We need 100 tents. Immediately, our mentor, Dr. T.L. Osborne, responded by saying, now, that's an idea big enough for God to get involved with. We thought we had a big dream with one tent that cost $25,000. But what we soon discovered was 100 tents made room for many organizations and people from around the globe to dream along with us. And over 15 years later, we now have 70 tents in that region and 2 small factories producing tents. Wow. If your dream is big enough, you can make room for others to join you in your dream. Ask yourself these questions. Is my dream audacious, large enough to cast shade for others? Does it challenge me and challenge others to get involved? Is it measurable so that individuals who are interested can find a place to join you on the route to your destination? Success is for those who go it alone, but we find true significance as we include others in our dream. Remember, you are cutting a pathway through the forest, a highway in the desert for others to follow. You are created to promote possibility, pursue with excellence, and synchronize strategies for the hope of humanity. What questions should you ask as you craft your vision statement? Let's think about this for a moment. Your ability to attract the talent required to complete your strengths is key in initiating your vision. Why? Your vision statement is where you invite people to participate and associate. A big dream is exciting and provides harbor for like-minded individuals. A big dream, however, is not enough to attract people. A big dream requires clarity to convince people of your potential and initiate confidence that you can be trusted. Not only must your dream make room for others, it must provide clarity. Your vision statement will identify the problem you wish to address, challenge the status quo, and illuminate a direction. Ask yourself this question: is your dream clear? Clearly stated goals with well thought out strategic steps will provide clarity and refine your dream for your audience. When others perceive your dream, they can realize it with you. If you can see it, you can seize it. A clear strategy requires identifying not only the strengths, but the possible weaknesses you will face. With a dream of 100 tents, you would think our friends and associates would have been excited. But in reality, no one on our team in Russia believed, and initially, many of the Russians thought we were crazy. Who were those crazy Americans? But we had a vision in our hearts. We did our research, we found the facts, we articulated the dream, and made plans for possible delays we would face as we raised the funds for this new undertaking. By breaking down our dream into logical steps, we were able to sustain ourselves in the difficult times. Clarity in your vision statement and your plans will allow you to move forward when others are still questioning the value of your dream. Have you ever had an idea that family and friends seem to think didn't fit your future? Get that dream out today. Dust it off, refine it, and begin dreaming again. Remember, dreams are created a size too big for us to grow into. But with careful planning and execution, you will succeed.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for watching this episode of Divinely Inspired Ideas for Life. Hope you received something and hope you've got some inspiration today. I want to encourage you, go to our website, lesliemcnulty.com. You will find so many helpful resources. You can download them for free. They're available at any time. If by any chance you've missed the previous episodes, no worries, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're uploading all those episodes online every week so you can watch them on your free time. Subscribe to that channel, click that notification button so you can get some notification when we release the new episodes or new messages. My name is Jacob Makartumian. I'm Director for McNulty Ministries, and I had a great privilege to travel with Kevin and Leslie around the world, and I've seen thousands and thousands of lives being changed through the simple messages similar to one that you've just heard. I want to encourage you, share this programming with your friends, with your family, with your neighbors, even they are not Christians. Believe me, those messages are relevant for them as well. We've seen lives being changed around the world by listening to the simple message of the gospel. I want to show you Leslie's most recent book, Exploits. Find this book, order it. It's a digital format. You can order it and we'll ship it to you. This book will definitely give you some inspiration to become an exploit for God. You will go beyond your comfort zone and you will become God's tool to change this world.